Hello, my name is Tony Marilich, and I'm a math teacher at Oceana High School. And I'm creating this video today to share with students and families to function as sort of a brief introduction to the DeltaMath homework environment. The DeltaMath environment is used by a number of the teachers at Oceana for homework, but it's not just a homework system. It's a system for learning about math also. So here's an overview about how to use DeltaMath. When you log into it, on the left-hand side, you'll see the class that you're part of. On the right-hand side, you'll see the assignments that have been for that class that you're within. When you click on an assignment, on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, you'll see a list of the assignments, or rather a list of the exercises that are part of that assignment. And then when you click on one of the exercises in that assignment, the screen changes. So on the right-hand side, you see a sort of a work environment for that exercise. And on the left-hand side, you see the other exercises that are part of the assignment. You also notice a sort of a progress bar completion indicator indicating how far along you are on completing the exercise. And usually you have to complete 5 individual problems within an exercise to complete that one exercise, which is part of the assignment. So in the work environment, you have the progress bar, which indicates how many of the 5 you've completed. And then you have 2 very important buttons, the buttons on the right that say watch video and say show examples. For any problem in DeltaMath, you always have access to a fully solved and explained video by an instructor. And that video, you'll notice, is broken up into 2 parts. On the left-hand side, you'll see what inputting the answer into DeltaMath looks like, or interacting with DeltaMath on this particular problem looks like. And on the right-hand side, you'll notice a whiteboard, which contains sort of the details of the math that go into the thinking in solving the problem. And the sort of whiteboard portion of the help video is handwritten by the instructor. So always watch the video, no matter the circumstances, because the video will always provide you a learning opportunity for the math. And sometimes the methods that are described in the video may differ slightly from the methods that are used in the classroom. There are multiple ways often to teach a particular topic, and it's very handy to see different perspectives used in solving a problem. And so if a student uses a solution method, which is described in the DeltaMath video, that is a perfectly valid way to answer a question on a quiz in the classroom. So the second most useful feature is the show examples. When you click on show examples, you're given a fully worked example for that particular problem. And I want you to notice there's 2 parts to this. There's the individual mathematical step in the solution, and there's sort of the description of that individual step. This is very handy for students to see. And if it just so happens that after reading through that example it doesn't quite click, you can click on the next example button in the lower right-hand corner, and you'll be given another example with, likewise, a description of the math steps coupled with a description, sort of like a English language or spoken description of that individual step. And you can go through multiple examples until you notice sort of a pattern, or you sort of get the main idea, and then you can return to the main DeltaMath work screen where you can work on the problem. The other section that's important to understand is this little box here. That's where you input your answer, and there's a little keyboard to the right, a virtual keyboard, and that's where you enter the various mathematical symbols that might not be visible to you at first. And usually there's a mathematical symbol made available to you here. Here it's a square root symbol. It could be a cube root symbol. It could be a sum symbol. It could be any symbol that's relative to the specific type of problem that you're working on. So once you enter your answer, you're given feedback. Sometimes you're told you didn't do it quite right. Other times you're told you did do it right. So it depends on whether you got the answer correct or not. So this particular problem, it says express in simplest radical form. So let's see, can we simplify 147? Well, I think 147 is equal to 3 times 7 times 7. So it's really equal to 3 times 7 squared. And because it's 3 times 7 squared, you can break up that square root into two pieces, square root of 3 and square root of 7 squared. Now the square root of 3 you can't simplify. It's a prime number and you can't break it down any further. But that 7 squared, because you're taking the square root of it, the squared in the 7 squared and the square root in the square root of 7 squared cancel each other out. They are inverses. So what happens is that just turns into 7. And so when you multiply 7 times the square root of 3, you get 7 times the square root of 3. So if I type in 7 and then square root and 3, and I click submit answer, the computer should say you got it right. And the computer will show you the individual steps that went into the solution. And I think the first time I did this, I was trying another video and I typed a 5 in and it told me incorrect. So that's why you see that 5 there from a previous problem that I tried to record a video for. So I've done now 2 problems. Students are required usually to do 5 problems in each one of the sections. So that's a brief overview to DeltaMath for both students and for families. This video should be embedded within a Google slide deck, which has some other helpful tips regarding using DeltaMath. I hope you found this useful, and best of luck in your math studies, or if you're a parent or a guardian, best of luck in supporting your children as they learn about mathematics. Have a great day.